Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm doing my final review ever of Game of Thrones. This is my review of the finale of season 8, the series finale. And before I talk about the show, I'm just gonna, acknowledge the elephant in the room. Yes, these are sunburns. My legs are absolutely fried. I was reading outside yesterday and I got so immersed in my book that I didn't realize my frail Scottish skin was being burnt to a crisp. So that's embarrassing, and I would be wearing a sweatshirt, but it actually hurts more to have sleeves on, so we're just gonna move on. Anyway, Game of Thrones. Wow. I will just say right off the bat, this ending was absolutely perfect. It was everything I knew in my gut that I was waiting for the past 6 years. I started watching this show in my freshman year of high school. I was 14 years old, and now I am done with my sophomore year of college, and I have grown up a lot watching this show, and I've witnessed people around me start loving it and watching it, and I've recruited people and my whole family watches it, and at family gatherings my cousins and we'd all have theories that we would exchange. This show has been a huge part of the last few years of my life. There's so many things I want to say, and obviously words cannot encapsulate what Game of Thrones as a show is. To the 1 million and counting, literally, people who signed that petition saying they should remake the season, I hope that they realize after watching this episode that they're wrong. They have been... If you watch Game of Thrones and you go back, things that happen in this episode, this finale episode, were teased in episode 1. There is stuff, they built this story from the end, and they built it backwards. That is how this story has been done. So to say that they did not foreshadow Dany becoming Mad Queen, that is ridiculous, because it is very much foreshadowed. And everything that happened in this episode was like a nice ribbon on what they've been building towards for the past some odd years. And I know a lot of people were expecting this final season to be like an explosion, like a firework, whereas in reality it operates like a real world situation. Sometimes the biggest, most epic battle is not right at the end. It's not the climax of the story. And honestly, I would argue that if you want that big epic battle and you want it to be in season 8, well, look at episode 3, because I've rewatched that episode multiple times since, and it is stunning. It is a stunning battle. And there's just so much thought and care put into every character exchange, every shot that the like dozen cinematographers have masterfully created. It's been about a decade, and it has all been leading to not this final episode precisely, but like the final season, and the way they wrapped this episode up with a nod to so many characters of the past, so many things. It got meta at times, with John Bradley's Samuel Tarly being like, let's be a democracy, and everyone's like, ha ha ha. Like, and freaking Jon Snow petting Ghost. Like, everything that people were complaining about, if they had just been patient enough to wait and to watch these character arcs complete themselves, and to watch the story breathe and inhale and exhale. And this was such a beautiful exhale, this episode, and I am so satisfied. I'm just so satisfied. Are you guys satisfied? I know that stuff like this is very subjective. People don't always get the ending that they want. Yes, there were many things that I wanted to see in this episode that I did not see. I really wanted to see Bran warg a dragon. Did I see that? No. And I wanted to see the burn test. I wanted to know if like fire could kill Jon Snow because he's a Targaryen, but they didn't do that either. There was just so many things that could have happened but didn't happen. As a storyteller, sometimes you have to make those really crazy, difficult decisions, and honestly, I respect the things that they did, and I'm, again, satisfied. I don't know what other word to use. I feel like, as someone who is very invested in this show, who's been watching every episode live for, again, 6 years of my life, I've cried, I've laughed, I've stress sweated, I've had to leave the room because sometimes it was just too hard to watch. I'm happy with this ending. I actually think it was a very, very good ending. It was a nice bookend, but at the same time, it didn't close every door. There are stories that can still be told. And again, like, if you're one of those million people who signed that petition and you're still not satisfied, I completely understand your pain, because I get that with a lot of shows, with a lot of movies. There are things that I wish would happen in so many things, but they don't always happen, because at the end of the line, it's up to the person whose story it is to tell those things. And if you want those stories to be told, if you want to read them, any of that, that's literally what the genre of fan fiction is for. And I know a lot of people look down on it, but like, that's what it's for. So go over there and get your fix, because plenty of people, trust me, are writing happy endings right now, and you can go read them and get satisfied. And yeah, you won't see your actors on the screen carrying it out, but that's not the story they're there to tell. That's because it's the D.B. Weiss and David Benioff. It's and George R.R. Martin. It is their story, completely their story, and that is how they chose to end it. And I really liked the ending. I liked who ended up surviving, even though I didn't expect a lot of it. I actually never would have guessed that Bran would be the king of the Six Kingdoms, but that was awesome and actually made a lot of sense. And let's be honest, Tyrion is doing most of the work there, but Bran is kind of the wisest, most level-headed, most neutral person that they could possibly have running the Six Kingdoms. And what better situation could they have put themselves in? And Sansa, I know a lot of people wanted Sansa on the Iron Throne, but now she's ruling her own little place in the north, and that's better, I think. Like, that's where she is, that's where she belongs. We saw what happened to Sansa when she was in King's Landing. I don't want to see her there again. And the burning of the Iron Throne was so symbolic, and Dany getting stabbed in the heart, and just all of it. And the conversation between Jon Snow and Tyrion, and the way it went up and down and up and down, and you did not know what Jon Snow was going to do. And then at the end, when his sisters came into play, you knew, and you felt it. And then, I mean, I knew when he was kissing Dany, I knew that at any second he was going to stab her or something, and then he did. And then Drogon let him pass. Like, to some degree, did Drogon know that was going to happen? Drogon did not try to kill Jon Snow, and honestly, like, why do you think that is? And Dany, I freaking love Dany, like, so much. But everything Tyrion said about her is true. The bookends, the people who signed the petition, if they could have just listened to that conversation between Dany and Jon, if they had just been patient enough to listen to that conversation, they would have understood that this is the route that she had been heading down this entire time. And Grey Worm going to Narth, and just the Starks kind of being on top at the end of it all, and Brienne of Tarth filling in the book about Jaime, and it's just, and then a song of Ice and Fire, which was very on the nose, but it was also like, it was funny. And I think it was a nice little gag that Tyrion was not included. That was funny, obviously very inaccurate. But there's a lot that people could say was good and was bad about this series as a whole. But as a whole, I am so content. This is a show that I probably will go, I'm going to take a break, but I will probably go and rewatch it. Years and years down the line, I'll just keep rewatching it. Maybe I'll buy all the box sets when they're cheaper. But I'm going to cross my legs, that might really hurt. Okay. It's important to me that it gets the recognition and love and respect, most of all, that it deserves. And I think that this final stamp that they put on a beautiful, beautiful love letter to George R.R. Martin's books, I just think it was done so well. Yeah, not everything can be the way that we all want it to be, but in the end, this is not our story. I mean, it's for us, but it's not ours to tell, if that makes sense. And it's just, yeah. So in the spirit of this finale and of watching it with my family in my living room with my family friends and just having a great time, I am going to be doing a couple more videos. I'm going to do a little bit of research first, just collect things, little tidbits of knowledge about aspects of this series that I respected and adored so much that I need to make videos about it. So I think I'll be doing like shots, my favorite shots from Game of Thrones, like cinematography wise, because man, this show is like a gold mine of cinematography. I think I might do, I wrote an article about it, link in my description box down below to Rose Colored Lens blog. It's a blog that I work on with my friends. I wrote an article on the importance of Jaime and Bran's relationship in the show, and I also wrote an article on the composer. Again, not going to try to pronounce his name because I butcher it every time, but I know that his first name is Ramen, so check out that. Those things are in the description box down below because I think those will be a lot of fun. But I think I might do a whole video on my favorite songs that have been composed for this show. I think I might do my favorite characters, my favorite episodes, my favorite battles. I don't even know. Like, maybe even my favorite season. Like, this might be just like a week of Game of Thrones videos because I really wanted to wait until this episode had aired so that I could include it if I wanted to, and there's some stuff actually in this episode that I really need to include, particularly shot wise, but just I'm floored. And I'm satisfied. So let me know in the comments down below if you guys are satisfied. Did you sign the petition? Are you angry, happy? Did you expect it? Did you not expect it? Did you read the books? And if so, how do they compare? Well, you can't really compare the final few seasons to them, but how is the experience between reading the books and watching the show different or similar? And subscribe if you want to see all of that Game of Thrones content that I was literally just talking about. So that is that. And give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, if you liked the final episode, and goodbye Game of Thrones. I mean, it was a wild ride, but I'm glad I went on it, so yeah. Alright. Well, I'm gonna go plan those videos I was just talking about, or I'm gonna go to bed. I don't know. Haven't decided. Probably gonna edit this video, but again, let me know what you guys think. And now our watch has ended. Have a good day, everyone.